Now, some of you may be wondering, didn't we read this story a while back earlier this year? Yes, we did. We read it back in February about Jesus going up the mountain. It was at the end of the season of Epiphany, just before the start of Lent. The season of Epiphany starts with the early story of Jesus getting baptized in the Jordan and ends with the later story of Jesus' transfiguration. And at both events, a voice from the clouds says, "This is my son," which is an epiphany indeed, if you ask me, revealing something about Jesus that's important. It's why these two things bookend that particular season, and we read them every year. Now, today is August 6th, and it's the formal feast of the Transfiguration, where we break from whatever we're reading, we happen to be reading Matthew this year, to read the proper readings for that feast, which include Luke, which we read this morning. Now, feast days help us to move with thoughtful awareness through our church calendar, touching down occasionally to mark important events worth celebrating, and the story of Jesus' transfiguration on the mountain is certainly one of them. As with this feast, some feasts, like Christmas and Epiphany and All Saints' Day, are fixed on a particular calendar day. And still other feasts, like Ascension, Pentecost, and Trinity, are all governed by their proximity with Easter Sunday, which itself follows the first full moon after the spring equinox. So because today is August 6th, and Transfiguration is one of the calendar day feasts, we get to celebrate it today. And why not? It's a good and important story and appears in all three of the so-called synoptic gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, to affirm that Jesus is both fully God and fully human in one spectacular event witnessed by three of his disciples. Now, during the Middle Ages, this feast was celebrated on various dates until Pope Calixtus III decided that the defeat in 1456 of the Ottoman Turks in Belgrade would be a suitable reason for dropping the feast on August 6th, which is the date he heard about it. Now, in my readings of our Hebrew and Gospel scriptures this morning, Moses coming down the mountain with his face shining, and Jesus going up the mountain where his face changes and clothes become dazzling white, the image comes to mind for me of things being revealed and of things hidden, with God standing there at the intersection. Moses had encountered God on Mount Sinai, where he was given the 10 Commandments to share with the people. This encounter with God made his face shine in such a way that the people were afraid to see it. So he needed to veil his face because they were afraid. Jesus' encounter of a different sort on the mountain, we see him pick 3 of his disciples, 3 out of 12 anyway, to join him for what's about to happen. And on the mountain he prays and then is transfigured for a moment in face and clothing while conversing with Moses and Elijah. After a voice from heaven speaks, Jesus presumably returns back to his conventional state. He had been seen there by that small group of followers, and only for a moment, as both fully human and fully divine. It's a mystery that people of faith today have puzzled over for centuries. His identity is not described as either one or the other. He is both the one and the other. Today, there's an entire academic field called Christology, which studies how this can be so, both human and divine at the same time, and is something we followers of Christ can choose to contemplate or not, as a statement of great or little importance to our faith. To use a modern concept, Jesus is non-binary in regards to the human divine identity. He's not either one or the other, but both the one and the other. In an also modern way, this raises our attention to the prefix trans in transfiguration. To be transfigured is not the same thing as being transformed. Being transformed is what happens to a caterpillar when it becomes a butterfly. Being transfigured is to show, for a moment anyway, and in addition to the identity you show the world, a truth of your identity that is deep and hidden. Jesus went up the mountain with a small group of friends, only a few of them, as the teacher companion that they all knew and loved. And for a moment, he let them witness Christ, the divine and chosen Son of God. Moses came down the mountain where his friends saw him, their leader, as one who had had an encounter with God, and both of them, I think, it's fair to say, were momentarily revealed as having God's light before they then hid it. That phrase, non-binary, we as Christians struggle far less with the notion of non-binary when it comes to our anointed one's identity, who is both fully God and fully human, than we do with the corollary notion of non-binary when it comes to the gender identity of one who is neither fully male nor fully female. In both cases, identity is complex, and that complexity is often hidden from sight. In both cases, liberating those identities will lead, perhaps painfully, to ultimate resurrection and to life. Now, today is August 6th, as I've said 3 times. And we have a chance to lift up the Feast of the Transfiguration together at our Sunday service. Is there something compelling about the proximity of this feast to the anniversary date of the Hiroshima bombing? If the Transfiguration shows a hidden truth of Jesus' identity, for a moment anyway, on the mountaintop, in a dramatic flash of dazzling white with a truth that gives life to all the world, then maybe August 6th shows a hidden truth of human identity in the flash of an atomic blast with a truth that we can choose to destroy life in all the world. We humans have, thankfully, kept that truth hidden, as it were, even as we continue to dither over the role of climate change in accomplishing the same thing, albeit with a longer agony that is underway. Our readings seem to circle around the revealed and the hidden. Let's think of parts of our identities, our own identities, maybe our wounds, or maybe our gifts that are deep and now hidden, and that express themselves in different ways. Non-white people are less worthy than I am. I depend on chemicals or sex or gambling to feel right. I have a disability. Same-sex love is an abomination. I am irredeemable. I am a poet. I am a biological male and my gender is woman. I have a superpower. I am neither a man nor a woman. I am shy but good at numbers. Some of our identities, our hidden identities, our wounds, our gifts, may be hard to see but for the way we act subconsciously. And some are known by us, and they want to come out somehow. Fear and intimidation usually are what keep everything in check and intact. Some are deep and hidden and destructive and betray our blessedness. Some are deep and hidden and would be liberating, having us proclaim from the rooftops our blessedness. If we are destroying ourselves or others, Lord, help us to repent and then to heal, that our blessedness may be made manifest. If we are hiding ourselves or others, Lord, give us courage and solidarity to step out, that our blessedness may be made manifest. There is a trick in deciding which is which, but fear and intimidation have a lot to do with it. Jesus always tells us, do not be afraid. May we offer and receive the deep selves with compassion, the deep selves that will allow our blessedness to show in our church community and in the world. The deep selves to repent, or the deep selves to proclaim from the rooftops. This is our individual and collective becoming the Christ, which on occasion, and when the life-giving need arrives, will show itself as something that dazzles and is holy. Amen.